Hayden.
Today we are going to present a topic about India. As many people in Hong Kong or many people in other places, they think that India is a very mysterious place with many secrets under that. So that we want to explore more about India and we want to know more about that secret. The purpose of doing this interview, as I mentioned, is that India have many secrets, and actually there are a proportion of people, Indian people living in Hong Kong, and maybe your classmate or your schoolmate are Indian. Why don't you know more about that? We want to introduce you more about them and answer your curious question about them. Yeah. So we move on to introducing our interviewee. He is called Fish, and his full name is very long and very long. And he is an Indian who have been staying in Hong Kong for 4 years for studying a Hong Kong U degree. And he will be staying in Hong Kong for a long while. As he mentioned, he doesn't want a vacation as he just signed a contract with Hong Kong U as a teacher, teaching English. Yeah. We have asked that his channel of impression in Hong Kong. He found that Hong Kong is a very nice and interesting place, interesting in a good way. And he thinks that Hong Kong have a very cosmopolitan atmosphere, and many different people of different nationality living here. But he tells us he doesn't sure that is that many part of Hong Kong is that international as he just hanging around Central or Tsim Sha Tsui. And we have asked it about his impression about Hong Kong people. They think that Hong Kong people are nice, but because they are frank and open, I think that this is a very interesting part. And he gave an example to me. He thinks that if you ask Hong Kong people to do a thing, he will just say that I have no time. But if other people they will think of an excuse, and he thinks that it is a waste of time. So he thinks that if Hong Kong people are frank, they will tell things strictly, it is fast and efficient. So that he likes Hong Kong people. Yeah. I have asked that have he feel discrimination in Hong Kong. He said that touch wood I didn't, but some of his friends in Hong Kong say that some police call them 叉仔. Yeah. But he didn't face anything like that. But he mentioned his Chinese friends face a very serious discrimination in Australia. For example, in Brisbane, they think that Chinese people is not good, and they often feel discrimination. Yeah. And I will pass to Hayden.
We will talk. Let's talk about our agenda. We will talk about marriage affair. Secondly, we will talk about the caste system and class polarization in India. Lastly, we will talk about the interesting knowledge about India.
Okay, it's me again. About the marriage affairs, we have asked them two things. The first thing is about the divorce rate. We have found that some information in the internet that Indian people have a very low divorce rate, say that only 1.1%, but compared to other places like Hong Kong or USA, it's an extreme case that the divorce rate is nearly half. Half of the couple will get divorced. We want to know that is that their marriage really that successful, or it's just some secrets under that. Yeah. Of course, one of the reasons why they didn't get divorced is that they have a very successful marriage. But sometimes, or usually, the reason is that Indian people will feel ashamed if they get divorced, especially women. They will not get that respect from other people, and they are out of list. They are not getting marriage afterwards. No guys will choose them as the marriage. Yeah. This not about just the woman feel ashamed, but the whole family think that it will be a great shame if their daughter get divorced. we have asked that is that about virginity, but our interviewee said that it's not really about the virginity, but about if the woman cannot maintain her last marriage that's successful, what will happen to the next marriage? And the second thing I have asked is about the wedding fees. In India, most of the people, when they decide to get married, women have to afford all the bills. We are very curious about that point because in Hong Kong or many places, such as in China, men often afford all the bills or they just share in a proportion. We find that this is a tradition, and this is not afforded by the girl, it's afforded by the girl father. It's because India is divided into 4 classes. You have the upper class, upper middle class, middle class, and lower class. Say if a middle class girl marry a upper class man, the girl will be upgraded to a higher level so that the entire family will be benefits for it. So that the girl father will willing to give the gift to the guy if they want. Originally, is that the father to decide what to give, but nowadays this tradition changed a lot. Is that the guy asks what I want before the marriage. For example, I want 3 cars, I want a house if you marry with me. We think that this is not a very good point. Just say the marriage is just a buy and sell. We think that this is not a good. Yeah, and then we'll talk about caste system.
When we talk about the caste system, in India, there is a caste system. It is India divide them into 4 groups: upper class, upper middle class, and lower class. Well, we find that this is harmful to Western in India. Because India want to go up the economics and they have some policy for the lower class, they will serve some universities intake number, a certain amount of intake number for lower class. However, upper class think differently because they think lower class are not compatible, not smart enough, especially in science department. They think that the lower class people, even they get a chance to study in university, but they are